Hello there. In this video we're going to go over adding products to the site. So of course we need to be logged in, and what we want to do is go to the back end. We want to find products. We can click it here or we can click it here. It doesn't really matter which you choose. And then we'll see the list here. And the reason I'm going this route is we want to duplicate basically a template. We want to copy what we've already been making as opposed to going in here and clicking add product, which starts you from scratch. We want to skip some steps and kind of make it easy on ourselves. What I recommend doing, because there's so many different types of layouts, is trying to find a design that's already inputted that's similar to the one you're working with. For instance, if we look here, we have this one right here. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. So you got the name, you got their last name, you got their address, and you got an apartment number and a zip code, whatever. 6 lines. Now, if I'm coming in and I need to upload something that looks like this Evelyn one, maybe I don't want to duplicate this one because it's just so vastly different, creating a lot of work for myself. And the same thing, for instance, the Beverly's one and the Linda and Aaron Palmer one. They're kind of the same, they're kind of similar, so I would duplicate one of these when I'm adding the new one, so it kind of makes my steps just a little bit easier on us. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Royal one because the one I'm working with has 5 lines, and then the one we're going to add has 5 lines. And you're probably wondering, well, 5 lines, what's that mean? As I kind of start going ahead, it'll make more sense. Okay, so to duplicate, you can do it 2 different ways. You can roll over this area of the one you want to do, and you'll see right under it says duplicate. So you can click that, or if you're already in the product itself, the product area, so maybe you're adding a bunch of them and the next one in line is similar. If you come to the right, you can see copy to a new draft. That way you don't have to exit out and then hover over it. You can actually do it right within the actual product itself. So let's go ahead and do that. And what you'll get is royal copy. You'll see that here, and then you'll see it here. It's highly important you edit this one too, because what's going to happen is you're going to change your name here, and this the one I'm doing is called, let's see, Athens, I believe. If you just do it here, the link to Athens is actually going to say royal copy, and clearly we don't want that. So we'll just go ahead and click on that link, click OK. I'm going to hit publish now. However, when you're working with this, you obviously want to hit save draft, because once your site's live and you start adding products, you probably don't want to publish something until you're absolutely ready to do so. I'm a little OCD. I like to save all the time because it's so much work to set this up. I'm always paranoid that power's going to go out, and then I lost all the work. So I'll go ahead and publish. And then the next thing I'm going to do is update my pictures, and I'll come down here and I'll see this is the big thumbnail on the website. I'll go ahead and remove this, and then I'll click set product image, and then I'm going to drag in the 2 pictures for this particular one. Now there is a blank one. We can see those here, these blank ones right here. You got to click on it to see if it's completely blank or not, because some of these got, like here, this design. So I'm going to just add the 1 image as opposed to the second blank one, because it pretty much the background's, white background's a white background. So let's go ahead and put in our main thumbnail, and there it is. And then I'll click set product image, and there it is. Now this next step is really, really important. I'm going to do my best to explain it to you so it makes sense. Oh, before I do that, let's go ahead and pop in the SKU number. Sorry about that. Let's do that while we're here. Okay, there we go. Now the next step is really important in terms of adding your fields, the name field, last name field, zip code field, that kind of a thing. Because if you don't do it in a specific order, what's going to happen is it's going to reset your whole setup, and you're going to have to do it all over again. And you're going to want to kill yourself. So I don't want you killing yourself. Let's go ahead and do it this way. That way it's easy on everybody involved. So we got our SKU number in there. We got our name of our product in there. We got our picture in there. What you're going to want to do is click add-ons. And then if you see that when I roll over this section right up here, I kind of get that, I don't even know what this thing's even called, whatever this little element is. And you'll see the arrow excuse me, the triangle pop up. We want to expand that so that opens up. Okay, so these fields we see right here, these option labels, directly correspond with the fields that we see in the stamp. So the first line is Thomas, and then the second line is the wife or whatever, the spouse, and the last name, and then the address, and so forth and so forth. So we need to make sure that that matches up. So right now it says last name. Clearly that does not match up. All right, so we want to put first name, right? Okay, the next thing would be, well, I don't think I've done one like this yet, so I'm not sure what to label this. We'll do first, last name, I guess. Okay, then we're going to have the street address, city. Usually it pops up an option to choose it because we've already entered it before. I'm not sure why it's not doing it now. City, state, and then now we need a zip code, so we'll go ahead and hit new option. All right, and we'll just do zip. Well, now it's showing up. Okay, once we've done that, what we're going to want to do is click the preview. There's no save button. There's no save button, so instead of clicking save or looking for save, you're going to want to click preview. By clicking preview, it's going to automatically save this section. Don't make the mistake of coming up here and hitting save draft or hitting update, because you're going to lose some information. So let's go ahead and click preview. And then now it's going to load up our, at least the back end, the admin's preview of what we're working with. So you can see we got some fonts in there with some text and that kind of thing. The image is old. We got to change that out, some other things. Now it's highly important that you see that your boxes are checked. See this where it says add field first name to? See that? That's because we went in there and we changed the add-ons. We added and changed this order. So what happens is you're going to get a few that are unchecked. So we need to make sure those show up. So I'll check that one. I'll check this one. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to remove the image. And then I think this is, yep, there's a blank one. We'll use this one. Where's our blank? And then let's update. And there we are. It's all looking all goofy, all weird, it's all out of order. So what I like to do, just my personal preference, is try to duplicate this as closely as possible. And by that I mean I try to use the same names and the same street information and that kind of a thing. So, you know, I'll come in here and that's the first line. I'll type Thomas and then I'll come down to the next section, which is right here. That will be the first and last name. So Rebecca Wells. Then we have street address, right? So what's that say? 5221 Barlow Road. Is it spelled out road or RD? I can't remember. Road. Athens, Alabama. Right, it's spelled out all the way. And then 35613. Okay, and then if I, oops, sorry about that. Update, and then I'll get all my information in there. All right. So next thing we want to do is start matching fonts, font size, and positioning. As you know, the font size is not correct, so you're going to have to take a bit of a stab at it, if you will. I would recommend starting at least 4 to 6 points up when you first start with your font size. So let's see here. Just bear with me. So we got Honey Script at 30 size fonts. So let's go ahead and click on the fonts. I can just type in Honey. It'll pull it up. It says 30. I'm going to probably try 40 right out the gate. And then now top position and left position. This is going to align where the fonts actually sit, how far up in this box. So let me see. Let's just try 35. And we'll leave that one at that for now just to see what kind of happens. And then we'll update it. And then there we go. So we're further up, but I am a bit off in positioning. So how about 60 and 175? Much better. Maybe a little higher up. And the font looks, it's a pretty good stab with the font size. Okay, now we got that one set. Now we got to go to the next one, which is Rebecca Wells. Check your doc, honey script again. We're running 40. And then that one's at 55. So how about 80? And I'm going to try 90. Let's see. Wow, I was terribly off on that one. Okay, so 100, 115. How about that? Okay, spacing looks about right. 105. However, my left position is not very good right now. Pretty close. What do you think? 180? 182? Alright, 180. Alright, so there we go. So there we are. We're all set. We're centered. Instead of sitting here and doing all these through, so you see that, that's the gist of it. I'll pause the video. I'll finish this up, and then I'll finish up what we have to do from there. Alright, I'm all set. I went ahead and did those in. It took me about an extra 3 minutes. Not a long time, but I definitely want you to sit there and watch that. So there it is. Like I said, when you come in, unless you're going to follow these exact same setup, meaning first name's first and the last name or whatever you're duplicating, always come to the add-on section and check to make sure it's in the order that you want, because it's basically it's each field is set to that. So when you start updating it, it matches that. So you'll see it says add field first name to image, first last name. So it's named, it coordinates with it. So if all of a sudden you've gone through this and you set this whole thing up and you're like, oh, the field names are wrong, I have to go in there and redo that. If I went in here right now and changed this and then went back to preview, this whole thing would be all messed up and possibly blanked out, and that would stink, and no one would enjoy doing basically work for nothing and having to start over. Once you're all set, if you're ready to go, save your draft, and then, or if you're not ready to publish, I should say, after you save your draft, you can preview changes and it'll show you what it looks like on the front end. I don't know necessarily how much you're gonna have to do with that, because basically it's kind of pop and go, pop and go, pop and go. I'm going to update this one because you can't really check this section unless you actually go to that product and do the live text to kind of see how it's filling out. So you could check that. Oh, I did forget one thing: your product description. So if I go to Wentworth, which actually doesn't have any description in there, let me edit this. I'm glad it doesn't. Now I can show you. If I need to add text in that particular section, I do apologize I didn't show this earlier. Go ahead and put your description, your text in there. Let's view the product, and then that's the text that shows up in this section. Okay, so while I'm here, I'll pop in some fake text there because I don't have anything. I'm not sure if you're going to have text in there or not. It was in the mock and that kind of thing. So what's going on right now is I am not filling text in there for some of these. So if you need to add text, you're going to have to come back and change it, because the one that do have text is fake text. So it's up to you whether you want to come in there and just completely remove it, or if you're going to go in there and update it. Okay, this video has gone long enough. I think oh, I did not. I do apologize. Let's go under variations. And what's going to happen is if you need to change or update your pricing, because right now it's all set up, and another step you don't have to worry about. That's the reason why I mentioned using copy a new draft or duplicate these products, because you don't have to mess with all setting these things up. Otherwise, you have to set all this stuff up. However, if you need to update pricing for whatever the reason may be, change it for a sale or something, you need to come into variations and then expand that box. So each section has a box that opens up, and then you can see the pricing in there. $44.50 for that one, and then the $48.50 for that one. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, that should do it.